January, February, March, the coronavirus hits. Chinese people, go back to your country with your dirty culture and disgusting food. Get out of here. George Floyd's death, May, June, July. Black lives matter. Let's stand together. All lives matter. Women's rights. I feel like the recent movements that have been happening, on one hand, have been positive, and they've been forcing us to look at what's important in our lives and really assess the problems that are in our society and proactively try to fix them. On the other hand, I feel like a lot of people are not really supporting these movements, but they're supporting it for themselves, their own personal agenda. They're just following the trend. After the smoke clears, people will revert back to their standard beliefs. It's like a drug addict. You could be off of drugs for 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months. But if you slip and you fall back and you didn't make any lasting change. So let's talk about culture. Google says that culture are the customs, institutions, and achievements of a particular or specific nation or group of people. Think of a city like New York City. There's Chinatown, Koreatown, Indian neighborhood, Hispanic neighborhood. There's all these little communities around New York. It's really cool. These people stay together because they have their food, customs, and culture. Usually, and this is a shame, some people may have a negative experience with someone and then paint a story around why they had a negative experience, maybe due to their race, culture, or upbringing. You cannot target one group of people and say they're the cause of all crime, poverty. It doesn't work like that. There are good and bad people in every culture. You subconsciously feel these thoughts or assumptions based on a specific group of people. And let's talk about white people. I'm half white. White people have a privilege in society, but that doesn't mean all white people are bad. There's no absolutes. So how do these ideas or assumptions of different races develop? It's 4 things: politics, parents, your friends, and your personal experiences. Basically, it's your environment. Once you get conditioned, it's harder to change your habits and routines as you get older. A true bond with someone can only be created by more than one reference experience. Think of your best friends. You probably have maybe 2 or 3 only. How long have you known your best friends? Probably several years. You can't really get to know someone just after one interaction. When you meet someone or you have a negative experience, regardless of their race, don't automatically write them off as a bad person. Okay, sometimes you have a feeling like this person's not good, but you have to be a little bit vulnerable to let them in. So how can we change people's beliefs about racism? If you want to make real change, go out and help one person, just one person, and don't expect anything in return. If you can do that, you can change people's lives. And when you can change people's lives, other things like racism just seem to blur away because it's not as important when you're just a good human being. Let me give an example. Donating $20 to a charity is good, but it doesn't necessarily inspire people to go out and change their beliefs and make a difference. So instead, how about you spend your Friday night delivering food to the elderly and the homeless, or on Sunday morning you wake up early and you clean the streets of your local community. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Donating $20 is good, but it doesn't cause someone to change. So the point that I'm trying to make is if you want to stop racism, you just got to be good to people. You can't just scream at everyone and tell them, don't be racist, you're a terrible person. No, that doesn't work. And let me caveat and say that you can't help everyone. And there's just some bad people out there that don't want to change. I know this because I worked in the restaurant for many years. My job was to make the guests happy. That really got me excited. And every single guest, I tried my hardest to make sure that everyone walked out of the door with a smile on their face. But sometimes people were just naturally unhappy, and no matter what I did, give them this, take this off the bill, nothing helped. They were going to be unhappy no matter what I did. So it's not worth saving everyone. And that's hard because I would go home and I would think about it and say like, what did I do? No, it's not what did I do. I tried to make a change. They didn't want to change. That's okay. But if you just inspire that one person could go on to inspire 2 people, and then those 2 people can go on to inspire another 3 people. So it's a snowball effect that keeps going. Positivity breeds positivity. Helping someone unconditionally, not helping someone to get Instagram followers or become an influencer. Going out of your way, over delivering. They'll remember you for that. Let me give you an example of doing something nice for someone expecting nothing in return. When I was a cook, I worked with this middle-aged Italian man in a Chinese restaurant, believe it or not, and he was very nice to me. He taught me a lot of things. A couple years went by, he was working in a new place and I knew he was working there, so I know he liked Italian Amaros. I went to his new restaurant, I saw him there, I gave him a nice bottle of Amaro. I said, I'm grateful for how you impacted my life. After that I left, it was a hot summer day, so I was like, I want a smoothie. So I went to the local smoothie store, and you know, pre-COVID, you went into a shop and there were so many people, and then there was a person person next to you and they're like, oh, are you in front of me or am I in front of you? So that happened. So this guy was like, are you in front of me? I'm in front of you. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm in no rush. When I'm about to place my order for my beverage, they inform me that that gentleman that I let go in front of me paid for my beverage. And that really touched my heart because he just did something nice for me. Doing something small for someone will really change your mindset. And then you won't have this victim mentality or this evil mentality where like everyone's taking it from you, or this group of people did this to me, or stay away from them. Also, regarding culture, think of it like food. We all eat similar things. There are just different spices, different flavorings, but we all eat a form of fried chicken, falafel, rice, pasta. These are things that span culture. I think food is one of the best ways to really connect with people on a deeper level, and it takes away the barriers between people, because once you sit down with someone from that culture and you try their food and you listen to their traditions, you begin to respect it because you have a good memory from that. So you need to go out and try to get those good memories. You need to be vulnerable in order to receive those. Sometimes you won't have a good experience. Maybe one time you have a bad day at work. Do you quit work right away? No. You go back the next day, the next day, and the next day, and then it becomes easier. So let me tell you a good story. When I was 12 years old, my parents took me to a Korean restaurant in Los Angeles, California. My family is Italian and Chinese, and we never ate Korean food. We didn't understand what was going on. We didn't understand the language. We didn't understand what we ordered. I remember looking at the table, and you know, the Korean, they have like so many small plates of all the condiments and side dishes. And I was just like, what is all of this? I have no idea. And then this meat came to the table and all these sauces and fermented things. And my parents never really had it either, so we were all confused. After that experience, I walked out, I was like, you know, I don't really like Korean food. Why? Because no one explained it to me. Fast forward to when I went to college, I had a great Korean friend, a 6-foot guy, really big. He became one of my best friends, and he took me to Korean restaurants, and we sat there and he introduced his food, his culture, his customs, and we got to know each other and connect on a deeper level. And since then, I love Korean food because food and culture has to do with the place that you're in, the time, and the connection that you have with someone. That's what really makes it special. So all you people that are racist, it's okay. You're just in a bubble in your own world, and you haven't had the opportunity to venture out, or you haven't had a friend. And all you ethnic minorities that think so-and-sos don't appreciate your culture, you're right, they don't, because maybe you're not making it approachable for them, or you're not trying to spread your culture to the masses and making it palatable. And I'm not saying make it not authentic, but just presenting it in a new way. There's nothing wrong with that. For those of you against immigration, and I know there's two sides to every situation. 1, think of your ancestors that came to this country. 2, think of most immigrants that work in this country are doing manual labor, like mowing lawns, working in restaurants as a dishwasher, maybe working as a dry cleaner. They're doing all manual labor jobs. So if you want to kick out all the immigrants, be prepared to mow the lawn, be a dishwasher, and work as a dry cleaner. I also think in America, we take for granted our privileges, our freedoms, and our opportunity here. Being poor or disadvantaged in America is 100 times better than being poor in other countries. So just keep that in mind. I feel like we're all like fighting each other and pointing fingers at each other because we can. A lot of us have the basic necessities. Some places don't have running water, don't have electricity, don't have food. Put that in perspective. Nothing in this country can just be given to you freely. You have to work for it. We have to work towards the change that we want to see. It's a team sport, and solving racism is not an easy thing, but if you go out there and just be a good person and try to help one person, that can make a difference. That's how I believe we cure racism. So put your seatbelt on, make this a habit to help people, be authentic and embrace difference. Try some different foods. You're gonna open your eyes, alright? Take care.